Hello, everyone. My name is Cody Matheson, and I am the principal engineer here at the City of Hastings. And first off, I would just like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this presentation on our 2022 neighborhood infrastructure improvements. So what I hope to cover in this video is an introduction to our engineering team, an overview of our project website, a look at the project schedule, an overview of what we plan to do in each area, a look at our project financials and the assessment process, as well as what is coming next as far as project outreach goes. So our project team is made up of Ryan Stensky, who is our Public Works Director and City Engineer, myself, who will be primarily managing this project, Bo Schutte, who is our engineering technician, who will largely be coordinating day-to-day construction activities, and then Sam Schmidtke, who is our administrative assistant and who will be answering a lot of the phone calls at our engineering phone line listed there. So to start off, I want to take a look at navigating to our project website. Chances are, if you are watching this video, it means that you've already found this website, which is great. But just wanted to show it for folks who may have got here a different way. From our project homepage, if you hover over residents and then look down at my street and then click construction updates, you'll see there should be a tab for 2022 neighborhood infrastructure improvements, which is located there. And on this page, there is a variety of resources which I will be using and speaking to during this presentation. But after this video, really encourage you to visit. We've got things like a major steps of construction overview, which kind of outlines what you will see throughout the summer, as well as design figures that I'll be pointing at today in case you need more time to look at them, design summary, and various other resources for you. Also, during the summer, our construction updates and latest photos, everything like that will be posted there. More information on those updates also to come. So as far as our project timeline goes, in 2021, we were largely evaluating the infrastructure in these areas, getting costs and a preliminary idea of what we want to do. And now we're at the point where we want to get your input. So that's why we're kind of conducting this online neighborhood meeting to get your input and explain the process. But if there's anything that we want to change, we have time to do that before we bring our recommendations to the City Council. In March is when we will be doing that, and the council will hold a public hearing where we can, the council will be hearing comments from affected residents and the public at large. And assuming everything goes well there, that is when the City Council will order the proposed improvements and start finalizing plans. Jumping ahead, a common question is, when do we plan to start? May is usually when construction begins, but more information will be coming and you will get a construction kickoff letter in advance so that we don't show up and surprise you. So this year, we're looking at working on a total of 5 separate areas, and we're calling areas 1 through 4 sort of our northern areas. Shown in red are full reconstruction streets, which means that we're going to be removing existing curb, the full depth of existing pavement, and also improving sanitary sewer, removing and replacing water main, as well as services for both of those utilities up to your right of way line. Reconstruct streets consist of 5th Street West, Ash Street, Park Court, Park Lane, and 11th Street East at the blocks shown in here in the map. And then the reclaimed streets in area 1 through 4, we've got 13th Street West, Lilac Court, and Hillside Street. And a reclaim project is where we largely leave the existing curb and gutter in place, but we still do a full depth road improvement. And we, for the most part, are staying away from those other utilities, but we will be doing some minor improvements. Our 5th area is what we're calling the Riverwood neighborhood. I won't list all the streets here, but you can see shown on the project map, the entire Riverwood area is slated for a reclaim project. So now I would just like to walk through the proposed improvements by area, starting with 5th Street. So on 5th Street, like I said, we'll be doing a full reconstruction, replacing water main from end to end, and also doing some sanitary sewer. Residents west of Ash Street, look for another communication coming likely sometime next week, as we'd like to discuss further with residents on this west end about reconfiguring some of your sanitary sewers. So as the legend shows, sewer replacement is shown here in green, water replacement is shown in blue, new storm sewers, so some new inlets to improve drainage on the road, as well as some new storm sewer piping is shown in orange. And then the area of pavement we plan to replace shown in gray. Jumping up to Ash Street, again, another full reconstruct street. We plan on replacing sewer and water main along different areas of Ash Street as well. And then same thing, doing some storm sewer improvement at the intersections to improve. Skipping over to 13th Street, Hillside Street and Lilac Court, we are going to be doing a reclaim, as I spoke to. One interesting thing about this neighborhood is we will be doing sanitary sewer lining, which is a trenchless, less invasive method that doesn't require us to cut or largely excavate the area. So we will be doing that in this area and primarily concentrating our improvements to the pavement itself. We will also be doing some minor storm sewer improvements along 13th Street as of now, and some as well up on Hillside. Park Lane and Park Court are also full reconstructions. So that means, again, we'll be removing and replacing all the curb and gutter and the full depth of the pavement section. We will also be fully replacing sanitary sewer main, the services up to the right-of-way line, and the same thing with the water main. All new valves, new hydrants, new services, new everything as far as those utilities go, and some minor storm sewer as well. Jumping into the Riverwood neighborhood, again, mostly a reclaim in all of these streets that are shown and highlighted here. You can also download any of these figures on our project website if you'd like to take a longer look. That is why I'm going through them fairly quickly here. But just to highlight for the Riverwood neighborhood, we do plan to add new sidewalk segments from Teal Way to County Road 47 on Village Trail, as well as Riverwood Drive, and a little bit south of Teal Way as well on Riverwood Drive, because currently those segments are missing and there's no way for pedestrians to connect up the area. Looking further south into the Riverwood neighborhood, we've got the central area, starting to look into Western Court and Winter Court, which will be improved. And then further south, we've got Riverwood Court, Regency Court, and then we show the varying extents of Village Trail getting improved down to 36th Street and Riverwood Drive getting improved, Woodland Drive. As I mentioned, figures and design summaries, everything will be available on our website if you'd like to take a close look. So don't feel alarmed if I went too quickly through those improvements. So moving on to assessments. So what the city of Hastings does per our city policy is we have a third-party independent appraiser conduct a analysis of the special benefit that will result from this project. So looking at the value of the properties in each area before, and then the value of the property after the project. Based on that analysis, the appraiser gives the city a recommendation on how much we should assess. And the city establishes a rate which is 90% or a little bit lower than that recommendation. For standard lots, and when I say standard, think rectangular, the assessment that we calculate is based on the foot of property that fronts the street that we are improving times the assessment. So simple for standard lots. Irregular shaped lots, so lots that are maybe pie shaped, larger at the front or maybe larger at the back, if they are a similar size to a standard lot that is adjacent, we want to normalize that assessment. So we try to make an adjustment which is fair and equitable so that irregularly shaped lots aren't paying vastly more or vastly less than a similar size lot that is nearby on that same street. Corner lots are also given a break for the city of Hastings assessment. And by that I mean, on the short side of a corner lot, if you have frontage along two streets, you will pay the rate times the length of that short side. But when you are assessed for improvements on your longer side of your corner lot, you only pay 25% of the equivalent length of that side. Looking at our proposed rates that we came up with by the process that I described on the previous slide, I've got a table here on the left which shows the rates for each type of unit for each unique neighborhood. And again, per FF, as you see in the chart, means per foot of property frontage along the improved. A common question we get with assessments is why aren't assessment rates the same for everyone in all these different cases? For this project in particular, each area was appraised separately and uniquely. So they didn't look at all the houses at once in the project, they looked at each neighborhood separately and identified the unique differences from neighborhood to neighborhood, things like lot size, lot age, lot dimensions, all of those things. And that appraiser again performed an analysis that looked at the special benefit that each property based on its type would gain from the project. So that is why you see a different rate for a single family home versus a townhome versus an apartment, for example, in the Riverwood neighborhood, is based again on that appraisal. Assessments will be sent out later this summer or this fall, with the first payment being due in spring of 2003. Two general options for paying assessment. They can be paid all up front, but if you don't want to do that, that's no problem at all. Assessments can be certified to your property tax and paid or levied over the course of 10 years to split that up into more payments in a longer time. If you are looking to get assistance with your assessment, Dakota County provides a grant program, and an application with more information will be sent out along with the assessment mailing later this year. Those applications are reviewed by the county to determine if you're eligible for any potential assistance. Looking at the project total costs, right now we're estimating $4.2 million in total project improvements, of which private assessments are approximately 1.1 million, or in other words, 27% of the project is going to be paid by private assessment. So what are the next steps with this project? As I mentioned earlier, highly encourage you to visit the project webpage and look at all the additional resources, those figures that I went through earlier, summaries of the design and the assessments. If you'd like to take more time to look at that for your specific street, I really encourage you to do so. And then very important, if you would like to set up a one-on-one meeting after you've looked through all these different materials because you have some additional questions, or comments that you'd like to meet with myself or somebody else in the engineering team, we absolutely encourage you to do so, and please do so between now and February 1st. That is when we'd like to schedule meetings with you folks to get your input so that we can start factoring that into our design if need be. So to set up a meeting, please call us 651-480-2334 or email Sam Schmidtke at the address shown there. And she will help you get a time set up with one of us on the engineering staff to talk through you. The last thing that I will ask is that you fill out and return your communication survey so that we can better assist you during this project. And there's two ways that you can do that. We physically mailed one out with your neighborhood meeting invite. You can physically mail that form back. Otherwise, I'm going to jump out of the presentation here and show you that you can also fill this form out online on our project webpage. So right here on the project webpage, you see this link, online project communication survey. On this form, you'll be able to provide us your address, your name, your email, phone number, preferably a cell phone, especially if you are asking for text updates. We will need that. But here you can see you'll have a chance to subscribe to construction updates via email, which we do weekly. We will not inundate you with a million emails. And it also provides a spot where you can provide comments or ask questions here as well. So we're trying to give you a lot of different options to get us your information. And then just a note on this, the information you provide here will remain confidential. This will strictly stay within the engineering department, and we will not use it without your consent beyond that. Outside of filling out your communication form and looking at our resources, just watch your mailbox. More information on public hearing and assessment hearing notices will come your way. So keep an eye out for mail from the city of Hastings. Closer to May, We will also send out a construction kickoff packet, which will have more information on what to expect once we have our contractor showing up. And with that, I would just really like to thank you again for taking the time to watch this presentation. We look forward to a great project and really want to hear from you with any of your questions and feedback so that we can better serve you. Thanks again.